Hello everyone, Scientier here, also known as Ben, because once again, I'm joined by my sister Jennifer.
Hello.
And last time we got Big Oron Sword. Yay, it's big.
It is big. How much do you actually use this sword? Because like you can't use the shield with it and stuff, right?
It's true.
And it's take two hands. So how much do you actually use it versus just like have it for bragging rights?
It's very, very good because it deals twice as much damage as the Master Sword.
Okay, that sounds pretty good.
The main thing it has as a
That's in the wall what you meant earlier.
challenge is it takes a while to get, as you might have noticed from an entire episode where we spent getting it. Yeah, this is the hard piece.
I mean, officially you could maybe say the Master Sword is longer to get because you have to get the 3 spiritual stones.
That's true.
So, officially you could say that. Where are you going? Okay, Minuet Forest.
Yeah, I want to go do the Forest Temple.
All right, time for temples. Which is your favorite temple in this game? Or dungeon, I guess.
So, if we're including like all areas with maps, just to kind of go down the list, that's the Deku Tree, Dongo's Cavern, Jabu Jabu, Bottom of the Well, Ice Cavern, Forest Temple, Water Temple, Fire Temple, Shadow Temple, Spirit Temple.
Did you get the well? I didn't hear.
Yes.
Okay, good.
And I think Ganon's Tower.
That probably counts.
I think that has a map, maybe. So what's my favorite of those ones is a really hard question for me to know actually how to answer. And the reason why is because there's different things I like about different dungeons. For example, I really like the music here in the Forest Temple.
I was about to say the music in this one. I really like the music too. There's something bouncy about it, but also kind of mysterious. I don't know.
Yeah, the overall like feel of the Forest Temple is one that I like.
I like how
the atmosphere.
I like how it feels like it's a house, like a manor house. It's kind of falling apart, but it feels kind of like that, which I think is interesting.
Some of the water temple like water adjusting mechanics are at least conceptually interesting. I can't necessarily say that the water temple is the absolute best implementation of that concept because it's kind of clunky in some ways, but it is a neat idea.
Yeah, it's interesting because the water temple here is about raising and lowering the level of the water, right?
Yeah.
Which is kind of like that place in Super Mario 64 where you enter at a different level of water. But so that's one way of using the water.
Wet Dry World?
Yes, Wet Dry World. So that's one way of we should play that game again, Ben. I'm getting nostalgic thinking about it.
I have it on both the Wii U and the Wii.
You also have it on N64.
My cart's gone missing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it has been since I was in college. At some point.
Like a roommate ended up with it or something?
I don't know.
Huh.
That's my best guess,
That's
but
really weird.
I'm not sure.
Anyway.
My grandmother got it for me, actually.
Oh, cool. I'm assuming that's paternal grandmother?
Yes.
Cool.
And I have no idea what happened to it.
Huh. So that's one way of using water. And here we have the Little Women reference.
Yes.
I'm sure it's pretty well known by everyone that it's a reference to the March sisters from Little Women. Jo, Beth, Amy, and Meg.
Yeah. That's
not the correct order of their age. I think Meg is oldest, and then Jo, and then Beth, and then Amy's youngest, I think.
I couldn't tell you.
But yeah, so one way they're using water in this game is raising and lowering the level, and then in Majora's Mask they're using it by changing the current.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, like the different ways you can try to use water in a temple. Yeah, that's kind of a neat thing.
I like how Spirit has the young and old.
Yeah, that's a neat dynamic and a way to use the time function in a much more coherent manner than Skyward Sword does with their weird time travel thing. And I think it's really cool that, like, to actually try to utilize the time travel in a dungeon that way. Like, otherwise, like, what's the point of the time travel, right? But to use it with things like that, or with the windmill with learning the Song of Storms, or with like the magic beans where like they grow while you're sleeping and stuff like that. Like I think those kinds of things where they're actually kind of using the premise of time travel is fun.
I agree.
Hello, fairy. There you go.
There we go.
I like how they're like little balls of light. I think that's really fun.
I like the fairy designs.
I really like the fairy design. I think it's cool. And I like how they have different colors to them as well. And that's neat. So you don't really have a favorite. So you like the atmosphere of this temple.
Shadow's probably like a least favorite.
That's kind of a weird, creepy one.
Like, it doesn't have any mechanics that like really stand out to me.
Is there a boss that you like?
So, well, just thinking about the temples a little bit more.
Yeah.
I feel like my favorites are probably like Forest Water, and I actually quite like Deku Tree.
You forgot to move.
Um.
So Forest Water. It's interesting water's so high because that's like the infamous one everyone hates. And when you first played it, you got stuck there, right?
Yeah, I did. Yep, I mentioned that in an earlier episode.
I think the first one probably.
I think you're right.
Yeah, you did.
But the like a lot of the other ones don't have as much. Like Dodonga is alright. Jabu Jabu is just a lot of like running around. Do I need this for something else? Well, I'm on this menu, so I'm just gonna put bombs back on. So I feel like sure that worked.
It really is a big giant Deku Baba.
Yeah.
I like how there's a little courtyard. I think that's really fun too. Talk about the design of this temple. It's like a little river and a well and everything. It's really cute.
So, having gotten iron boots early.
Ah, nice. Good point. You have to come back and get this later.
Allows me to...
Also, it is hilarious to see a fairy flying around underwater.
Which side does this open up?
Is she like, swimming with her wings? Does she have to worry about wearing a tunic like Link does?
Can I not
she breathe
open this
underwater?
Interesting. I might not be able to open this underwater.
Ooh. So you have to unflood this later?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna explore down here a little bit.
It's cool seeing it underwater, all this.
Yeah. In terms of like boss fights, I don't think I really have a favorite.
Are you too heavy?
I might be too heavy. They might not be able to use ladders underwater.
That'd be weird. They put ladders in pools. You'd think they'd be usable.
You would think, but...
There'd actually be a way to get down, even if you couldn't like dive or have iron boots, by holding onto the ladder rungs to get you down.
Yeah, it could actually in real life, but...
Yeah. It's only one of many ways that this is not accurate to reality, huh?
It's true.
Are you trying to get Deku nuts from him?
Yes, I am.
That's why you didn't attack him when he's upright, because it gets you a stick.
Whatever.
Oh, you got nuts still?
Oh, okay.
Yay.
I don't know why you gave me nuts there, but I'll take it.
Well, I don't think he was actually still upright. I think he managed to... Wow, the Octrooks are annoying.
Yes, they are. They also like to run away when they...
When you get too close, yes.
Yeah.
Like Deku Scrubs, they do that too.
They do.
But they don't turn invisible.
Baronade's actually kind of a fun fight.
Okay.
King Dodongo is really simple, so it's not like...
That took surprisingly fast. I, like, almost missed that fight, I feel like. Because, like, you used the Deku stick to, like, whack him and he died practically immediately.
You can do this, but I think I need to stop trying to go on that side, and I need to go more front on.
Let's see if it works. Yep. Yeah, that went much better. But yeah, there's not much clearance on this. I mean, you used it, so...
Well, it gets you up here to...
Yeah.
This sculpture.
I heard the noise that might hit you again. So is your least favorite enemy the Octorok, and why?
Any of the enemies that, like, kind of disappear like that are kind of annoying.
They are, yeah. But, the way it keeps hitting me too. But, yeah, I don't know because I'm not really a game player, so...
Up there is where I lower the water from.
What I look at in games, probably since I'm not really doing the gameplay, I'm just watching you, and I'm going more for the, I think you call it Narvazod.
That's what we call it vernacular.
Yeah, so I'm looking at more
That's
things
short for
like...
narrative visual audio.
Yeah.
And it's... The idea is, like, it's the other part of the game to mechanics.
The artistic part of it. No, the plot, the aesthetics.
Yeah, plot, lore, aesthetics.
All that kind of stuff. World
music,
building.
sound effects.
World building, yeah, all that kind of thing. So, like, if I had to choose a temple, it would be based on what looks the coolest. What is that glowing? Oh, it's...
That's a Skulltula.
I see it. I wonder
Or Waltula.
wonder why it turned purple a little bit.
That's the warning that's about to attack me.
Oh, okay. Interesting. So what I'm probably looking at is the design of it I like, rather than the gameplay of it, right? The design that I like, the music, the kind of appearance of it. Also, like, if there's a sense of lore to it.
Sure. Like, Phantom Ganon is a great fight in terms of, like, teaching you how to fight Ganondorf, and also, like, there's some interesting lore attached to it.
So that's the kind of thing that would make something interesting to me.
Hang on.
So it's probably this temple, because this is the one I remember, like, aesthetically as being interesting and all that. I'm not sure how much I remember some of the other temples. I don't know. And I do like the concept of the spirit
Morph is a
temple.
bad fight.
Okay. I do like the concept of the spirit temple. With the doing things in the 2 different time periods.
Yeah.
I don't remember a whole lot actually about it beyond that, in terms of, like, the actual execution of that concept. But yeah, this one's pretty neat looking. I don't know how much people put thought into justifying the existence of dungeons and temples and stuff in world, in universe.
Yeah, well, like, in universe, they're all temples because they're places where, like, various deities and stuff have been worshipped and things. So, and they're associated with the spiritual power of the sages. And Ganondorf's kind of taken them over and installed his monsters there.
Yay! So this is our first key. So something you mentioned earlier is that there are only keys in
This
adult
is not our
dungeons.
first key.
Oh, do we get keys somewhere?
Look in the lower left corner.
No, our first... Okay, I'll accept that. I don't know when you got them, because I did not see it
But
at
this
all.
is our first dungeon with keys, yes.
Okay, we will revise that. When did you... Where were the other 2 keys?
Well, there was one in the room with the 2 Stalfos, and there's one in the entry hall on
Where
top of
was I when you got them?
Right there.
I don't think so. I think I was not in the room.
You were, in fact, next to me the entire time.
I don't know about that. I don't know how I didn't notice what you were... I just assumed they were, like, compasses and stuff, I guess, or looking about it. I was probably looking at you while you were answering my question or something.
That's understandable.
I'm still flabbergasted that I missed 2 keys. Anyway, it is our first dungeon that has keys. That is true, even if it wasn't actually the first key.
Yep.
2 of them, though. I can see missing 1, but 2?
I don't know what to tell you, Jennifer.
I could have sworn I was staring at the screen. What was I doing? I just saw colors and not registering what they actually were. It is interesting how you can get so distracted, like, by focusing on one thing that you, like,
That you don't see the gorilla.
Yeah, you don't see the girl in the background, exactly. It's fascinating. Because I'm pretty sure I was staring at the screen most of the time. Huh.
Yeah, it turns out we have limited focus and we can't just take in all of the information simultaneously.
But, I was talking about keys. Yeah, so I think that's an interesting idea, because we're so used to Zelda games in their dungeons having keys.
Yeah.
Like, that's one of the, like, what makes it a, generic, tropey Zelda dungeon. And there are arrows painted on the floor.
There are.
What makes it like a, the generic, this is what a Zelda dungeon is. It's got, the map and the compass and the keys, and, like, you fight a mini boss and it gets you the item that you're going to then use to defeat the main boss of it, and all that kind of stuff, right? And I think that the introducing, instead of just throwing everything at you in the Deku tree, your very first dungeon, kind of doing some staging.
Yeah.
Is a good idea, so you're not getting completely overwhelmed in that first dungeon. So I think that was probably a good call.
I agree. It's interesting because there are a number of things that they, because, like, all keys are is a gating mechanic, right? It's a way of saying you have to do this to be able to proceed. And in that respect, they had other forms of that in child dungeons. The boomerang and the tentacles that you have to cut down. That's kind of like a key thing. You have to go to this area,
Yeah.
do this thing, and it opens up this
And you have
door.
to drop the bombs on the Dodongo's eyes to open that door.
Yeah, and that's kind of another sort of it is mechanically similar
Break the
to
spider
a key.
web to get down to lower levels.
So it's interesting. There are things that are kind of like serving that function.
It doesn't have to be a key. Like you could make it any kind of thing, really. That
and like
serves
the fire in Deco Tree to break webs. I think you might have said that already. I don't know.
Well, I mentioned having to like jump down to break the webs, but yeah, I mean having the webs just in general, I guess.
Yeah, like where like part of the thing that you have to do in the Deco Tree is you have to get far enough to be able to get the web, the fire over to where you need it to break that one web. This is shootable with a bow. I do not have.
Yes, or with a slingshot you do have, but refuse to use because you're a grown-up now.
Yes.
Slingshots are for kids. So the arbitrariness is kind of funny.
Yeah.
Well, I know you're gonna get the bow.
It's interesting though because it's like I just kind of assumed that's how things worked in Zelda games because this is the first one I played. Not realizing how common it was for Link to be able to use, like, you come after this and you play. Does Wind Waker even have a boomerang? Yeah, it has a boomerang. So you're I mean, it doesn't have a slingshot, but you get to Twilight Princess and it's like, oh, you get the slingshot and that, and then you get the Gale boomerang as well as the bow, and
there are so many items in that game.
yeah, there are quite a few. It's been a while since I played it though.
Yeah. But there's like 50. There's a ball and chain, isn't there?
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of items in that. That's part of why I feel like it was trying to be this game, but bigger, so and more extreme. So it had like Hyrule Field was big, but now it's even bigger. This is such a cool realm. This corridor's all. I didn't notice. Thank you for pointing that out for me. Sorry.
They removed so many Navi triggers in the.
Well, why wouldn't they? Watch for the shadows of monsters that hang from the ceiling. Yes, they're called wall masters, right?
Yes.
Why are they called wall masters when they're on the ceiling?
Because floor masters are on the floor.
Why are they ceiling masters? Is it too long?
I
for
have
a word? Ooh.
I don't really know. It might be just like a historical name based upon how they worked in the 2D top-down games, because you didn't have a ceiling
That makes
in those.
sense. Yeah.
Also, prepare for the hover guys.
Well, I know there's bad guys, but I don't know where they are.
Yeah, there's a.
Oh, there's someone. Is that a hole in the wall?
That's a hole in the floor. Yeah, and you can just walk right over it.
That is interesting.
It leads down to the arena where I fought the previous group of Stolfos.
So do you think one of these is Grog, the guy that got turned into a Stolfos in the Lost Woods?
There's an argument for it, but I don't think that's actually the case. It would be interesting if you had a Stolfos that could spawn as a unique encounter there.
That would be really depressing, though, because then you'd be killing him.
It's true.
And now, do they come back unless you kill both of them in enough time?
I believe that's the case here.
He's got a really weird blade. Do you see the shape of his blade? It was really
it's very like wavy or something, isn't it?
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder if that makes it more deadly because it's not going to be a clean cut.
Or
if it's just rule of cool.
I think that's rule of cool.
And not
like,
practical.
A blade with a curve on it will allow you to potentially get a longer cut. But not a wave. I don't know if waves have some other benefit to them.
I don't know.
I just got the bow, by the way.
Yay! I'd actually noticed that one. I didn't notice your keys, but I noticed your bow. But so you just assumed that dungeons work that way in Zelda games? You said having keys and.
No. That items like.
Oh, you get the item in
the
it
age
that,
lock
that
and all
you
of that,
use.
yeah.
You get the item that you use for that dungeon's boss, and that also you use in the route in the world in order to like get to areas you couldn't access before.
Where do I want to go first? Whatever, we're going over here. It doesn't matter. I need to do both directions.
No, we saw one of the post sisters in the portrait, but we didn't actually then face her.
Right. It's because.
Okay.
You
have to shoot
have,
them.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Wahahaha. She can't hide in the portraits anymore.
I'm gonna actually swap the nuts and bow.
Okay. Feels more natural, huh?
Yeah, well, holding down the Z trigger.
Mm. I wonder who these people were before they were posed. Do you have any idea? Because you watched the Zelda, oh my goodness. You watched the Japanese versions of the game, right? Because they're faster for speedrunners and stuff. You probably don't know because they skip all the dialogue. But do you know if they have the little women names in Japanese?
Yeah, I don't know. You are correct.
Okay, so you don't get to see that if it's...
Well, because the way that you see it is with the Navi, like, lock-on dialogue. Because, like, right there, like, you didn't see which one that was.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah, you don't see what their name is unless you do that. That's a good point.
Yeah.
I probably have it written down which one is which color.
Oh, probably. That sounds like a thing you do.
It does, doesn't it? I can take a look and see if I wrote it down. I don't know. I'm not sure how much I did things with dungeons. Because I was not going to be entering dungeons. I would just be, like, messing around in the overworld or whatever we want to call this. Will you call it the overworld?
I'm getting more comfortable with aiming directions, by the way.
I noticed you haven't been struggling as much, so yay. Let me see. Sacred Forest Meadow. Oh, I did write it down. Blue is Beth. Green is Amy.
Red is Joelle.
Red is Joelle, which is Joe, which I believe her name is her name Josephine in the book? I think it might be Josephine, not like Joanna. So they call it Joelle. So that's their one thing to make it a little bit different is Joelle. And then Meg is purple.
So one of the things you're noticing that I'm doing here is I'm throwing Deku Nuts because it makes them appear when they're invisible.
Oh, okay. So that's what you're doing before. Because like they don't feel like they're getting stunned.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
It forces them to reappear.
Can you do it with the big Poe as well?
I don't know if the big pose... The big pose mechanic is where you have to shoot them while on horseback.
That's true. So you can't really use a Deku Nut when you're on horseback.
Yeah. Hang on. I need to look at the map. Okay. I think I want to go the other way first.
With my wonderful spatial sense, I often feel like these dungeons can be like mazes, and you look at the map and it's like, this is so like basic. There's like 3 rooms. How is this confusing?
Well, because it doesn't show you the vertical in the same sort of
Well,
way.
I just mean in general as well. I mean, there's more than 3 rooms in here. But like generically, like I look at sometimes the map, like in the guide, and it's like, this is actually just a handful of rooms. It's pretty simple, and somehow I'm confused. But this is a pretty confusing room.
I know that they're
Does
here.
she do this every time you enter this room?
This is a different room.
Oh, okay. Because the other room had that too. Oh,
They can't
heard
get you
one.
on ladders. They also can't get you in first person for some reason.
that's interesting. Huh. And this is the equivalent of that other corridor, but it's not twisted, I guess.
Correct.
Don't you untwist it?
You can twist and untwist it. Yes.
Yeah. Does it change what you get to in the end?
Okay, I need either yes.
The room's upside down or something?
So what happens is it rotates this room.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I can see it's got different angles, that with the ladder.
And so it'll give us access to different things. I need to go the other way because I need to get access to... Oh, is that... What's on that one I switched?
I think you're asking the wrong person.
It was a rhetorical question.
Yeah, I figured. Alright. It is really dark in here.
But anyway, the Deku Nuts are extremely useful for...
Yeah, like it's interesting because they're
A
given
lot of
you
stuff.
get them like they're one of the first items you get,
Absolutely.
and you just think, oh, this is for freezing things and that's boring or whatever. You don't necessarily realize how useful like some of the strategy.
Yeah, it one-shots Shabombs, for example.
Like there's definitely strategy things that you could not be aware of when you're younger or newer to a game like this. That effect of being twisted is really neat.
So one of the things I'm looking at is I need to get another small key, but there's a boss key.
Those basements are enormous.
Yeah.
Now, I'm used to these guys that are the skulls that float around. As if they touch you, you get jinxed where you can't use your sword. That does not seem to be happening to
I
you.
don't think these ones do.
Is that just Majora's Mask that does that, then?
I think that's a Majora's Mask mechanic.
Interesting. Because, again, that's the one I'm used
I was
to.
expecting it in this game as
And it
well,
wasn't
but I've
happening.
not been having it happen yet.
Interesting. Huh. That's really funny. This has a banister, I guess you could say. No, that's not the right word. It's got like the
Yeah, the
rope,
railing.
The railing. That's the word.
Wait.
Railing.
Down? Down goes up.
Is it backwards again? What's happening? I'm so used to these kinds of places not having railings. So it's really funny to like actually have some railings.
Down goes up. Down goes up. Okay, I don't know. I was getting confused. For some reason, I was having...
You were so used to it, you thought that...
So it's that way you can't jump to that.
Uh-huh. That makes sense for that reason. But it's funny where, like, just the one has it and nowhere else has it.
I wasn't sure if that chest had anything important. It, in fact, did not have anything important.
Were you getting confused because you've gotten so used to the wrong way that you tried doing it the actual wrong way? I've had that happen where, like, you second guess yourself and then you could do it, guess the
Yeah,
wrong way.
I'm not sure what was going on. I don't know why I was having an easier time aiming the bow.
So the bow's not the right way. It's still weird. But you're more comfortable with it or something?
Apparently?
Huh. That's weird.
I don't know what's going on.
Ooh.
For some reason, I thought that animation looked slightly different when I was a kid, and like my memories of it are slightly different than what it actually is, and I don't know why.
Huh.
Cause is this then the? Yeah, okay, this is the boss key.
They always put that in a special treasure chest. Oh, well, Master Words, yeah. Yeah, like, this game really was super influential, and, like, some of these tropes for Zelda games are
Yeah,
right
like,
here.
A Link to the Past has big keys that are very similar, but I think they open... I don't know for sure, because I haven't really played that game.
Uh-huh.
I think the big key might open all small keys.
Oh, it's like a master key?
Yeah,
Go with the
within
Master
that dungeon,
Sword.
I think. But there's special doors that they have to open that are, like... They're not always boss doors. They're often, like, partial.
Mm-hmm. Aha, you got them both. That's cool.
Yep.
I didn't even know that was locked.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Does this lead to the collapsy roof? No, okay, it's over here.
The collapsy roof.
You'll see. I think it's ahead.
I can guess, but I guess we will see what it really is.
And I believe there's a key in here.
Ooh, and a floor master one, right?
Yeah.
It really is a strong sword.
Gotta kill that one before he gets big.
Mm-hmm.
Because they will regrow. And I really don't want to fight more of them.
Yeah. They are really creepy.
They are.
And the way that they can fall from the ceiling, the wall master ones, is also
Yeah.
kind of creepy. Probably more so when we were kids.
But it is interesting how, like, you get design differences between having the explicit... Yeah, okay, and then this loops us back around here. Having the explicit keys in the adult dungeons versus the implicit keys in the kid dungeon, like the tails, the webs, and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, there's different ways to institute that same mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, there might be a way that you're used to it being implemented, but you could do it in other ways, and kind of seeing that happening there for the kid versus adult dungeons
Yeah.
is really interesting.
Absolutely.
Or even, like, in Pokemon, where it's like, you can't go this way because there's a Snorlax on the road,
Yeah.
or things like that. Or, like, you have to be able to use Cut, or, you know, another HM or something like that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yes, it's interesting to think about. Ow. They're very annoying, aren't they? Also, their wings are kind of cute, but also, like, it's a skull with wings. Like,
Is
it a ghost of some sort?
I need to twist this whole corridor again.
kind of weird when you think about what they actually look like.
Yep.
Right. So have you gotten only one, or you gotten two of the ghosts?
Two of the ghosts.
Two of the ghosts.
Yeah, there's one on here, or on this side, and then there's one on the other side.
Okay. So 2 more ghosts. Yeah, it is. I can't imagine designing a dungeon. It would be really difficult. But it is interesting having different ones where they've got like goals. Like this one's nice in that like you walk into the main room and you see your goal is to go down the elevator. And you need to have those 4 things of fire lit. And they all go out. And so you know your goal in this dungeon is to get those fires relit so you can go down.
Yeah.
So, you know, kind of having it set up that way, where there's like this clear goal like that. Or like, I think in the next one, right, that you have to rescue the prisoners. So your goal is...
That's not going to be the next one, but yes.
Well, okay, in the fire temple, your goal is to rescue the prisoners.
We're going to do water first.
Ah.
Because we can, mostly.
And it's one of your favorites. Ah, you got one
This is
first
really,
try.
This is really cool because you can get it like that.
Did you just twist the other corridor?
Correct.
The one that came untwisted, huh?
Yeah, the one that was initially. There we go. Get those guys out of the way.
Yay. I'm completely lost, by the way.
This is the room I was talking about.
Okay, yeah. I recognize these kinds of walls. Or ceilings that fall.
It does have a door over here.
Oh, that's interesting. Keys, there's your favorite.
This is probably
no,
a
was it a
mistake.
spider? I don't know what it was.
No, it's not. But this goes you to the top of that. Yeah, there's spiders in here.
Okay, I heard scritching noises, I guess. I really do not have a good sense of spatial spatial orientation because I have no idea. Link, watch out! The ceiling is falling.
My goodness, I had forgotten how much Navi yells at you about
I
stuff.
can see why people find her annoying because she's really doing a lot. This is like Kapora Gabora, where I forgot how much he showed up to talk. But yeah, I'm completely lost in terms of where this room connects to anything else.
I understand. I need this.
Yay.
I do not need this. It's useful. I assumed that was a key for some reason.
It lets you know that that's a safe place to stand, because otherwise it would have been crushed.
That's true. This is really annoying.
Oh, meh. That's right. Oh, the time limit is what makes it annoying.
If you don't get it in the time limit,
They all turn, right?
they all flip, and you have to just kind of start over.
Well, that'll be fun. It certainly is a unique way of doing it. I think the ghost has a sense of humor. How about you?
Sure.
At least they're all angled the right direction. You don't have to like turn them in circles or anything. That would be super annoying.
It would be.
You've got 30 seconds. Can you do it?
This is one of those things that the randomizer speeding up pushing makes a lot easier.
Uh-huh. Oh, great. I think you might manage it. Where's the blue one go, though?
That is a red herring.
Okay, it's extra. So you just need the 4. Woo! Hurry, hurry, hurry. I'm nervous.
I'm not making it.
Oh, no.
I
You're
don't
so
think.
close. Oh, shoot. You literally had one more push to make. That's so annoying. That's also tricky that they have a red... And this is going to take much longer because they're all in weird places now.
This one
And they're
is-
like against each other in weird places.
Yeah.
Oh wow, it looks completely black from the thing.
Okay. So that one goes down. This one goes over.
I was like, you should move them so they're not next to each other and just wait for the next cycle. Because they're in such awkward positions because they turned. I guess you just choose one and have that be the new thing they're all based on, huh?
Yeah. This is not that bad.
Okay. Oh yeah, you're getting pretty close to it. That's good.
This is significantly easier when block pushing is faster.
Yeah, well I bet, especially if they keep it the same time limit.
Yeah.
Rather than like shortening that or something. It sounds like the randomizers do a lot of work and changes, huh?
Yeah, they do.
And what is it you like about watching the randomizers?
It's really interesting. It makes for a different experience of like where is everything.
Is it from like a puzzle or something? Or?
Yeah, well, it's a routing challenge. It's trying to figure out how do you want to get to stuff, right? Because like if you find the bow in a random grotto, that opens up different directions that you can go. And stuff. So it makes for a really interesting sort of like it turns it into a scavenger hunt, which I think is really interesting. And that's a different like play dynamic, and that's one of the things that I've enjoyed about like doing Dark Souls randomizers. Because I have done Dark Souls 1 randomizers.
Okay, well you done it yourself.
Yeah, like there's a 10-hour stream VOD of one on my YouTube channel that this is going to be posted to.
Is it all one?
Yeah, it's just one. It's a playthrough.
Oh, one video, I mean.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a long video.
It was a long stream.
Apparently, wow. Hello, Meg.
Yep.
And the real one turns, right?
Yeah.
How I remember things like this when it's been so long since I played this game. Or watched someone else play it, I guess. Aha, I saw it. Like, it's weird the things stick in your memory.
It is.
And how seeing it, like, you couldn't just regurgitate it, but when you are in that experience seeing it, you remember it as you're kind of seeing it. Like, oh yes, I remember this, or I know what's going to happen right next. Kind of thing. Great. How many more times do we have to hit her?
Hopefully not many.
Yeah.
But I feel like this goes on a little bit longer than I expected to.
What a pretty color. I like that purple.
Yeah.
Oh, you're on top of it. That's funny.
I am on top of it.
Whee. It's a magic elevator, one assumes. All right. And now we just have.
It's powered by Poe torches.
So we just have the boss fight now, right?
Yeah.
Exciting. Ooh, and there's a sculpture of some sort.
There's a gold one in one of these. I think the randomizers speed up that animation as well.
They do a lot of work with it, sounds like.
There's a lot of things, like a lot of quality of life stuff that's been added to the randomizer.
Yay! There were actually two sculptures. One was gold and one wasn't.
Yes. I don't remember what's in here.
You've gotten a lot of arrows in
this explains. Well, one of the things that you find in randomizers is like, oh, there's another random arrow pickup. And I'm like, this explains why there's so freaking many random arrow pickups.
And lots of random coin pickups and some hearts, I imagine, too.
Yeah. Like some of the recovery hearts and other things. Soraya's house actually has
You called her Soraya, too.
recovery hearts inside.
Yes, that sounds right. I remember that, I think. But aren't they just sitting? They're not like...
Yeah, they're just sitting
they're
there.
not in treasure chests. That's how you know she's a good person, right? But speaking of Soraya, or Saria...
Mido had like 11 rupees and a heart.
We'll probably be seeing her soon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be fun. I think I made a paper doll based on her when I was a kid. I fashioned myself a light table by using the bed frame of an American Girl doll bed for Josefina, I think. Possibly for Molly. I had both of the beds. And then putting like a plastic tub over top of it upside down with a lamp like on the table to light it up underneath. So that then I could trace things. And I would kind of like trace pictures in books or like, you know, the paper dolls that I had to make the right shape, and then like put, you know, clothing either based on, you know, something I came up with, or more often based on like characters from Legend of Zelda, so like Nehru's outfit from the Oracle
Oh, sure, yeah.
of Ages, I guess. Of making that outfit. And like Naboru and different characters from these games, and also from some of the characters. We have this Star Wars like compendium of all of the characters book I guess is the best way to put it. And it is from the original trilogy and the books that were out at that time.
Oh, yeah, so it's got all that wrong info.
Yeah.
Because it's pre-prequels.
It's pre-prequels. So, like, they clearly had no idea where things were going to go. What a freaky mask. He should wear that in the Smash Bros. Game, shouldn't he? That'd be cool.
That'd be a great alternate costume.
Exactly. See, you understand. Does he have a horse when you fight the real Ganondorf?
No.
Okay. That's just the being in the paintings thing, which we saw with the Poe sisters earlier, so that's kind of fun too. But so it had like, yeah, clearly
you can hookshot him, but hookshot range is apparently kind of short, so I missed.
They clearly did not know at all what's going to happen in the prequels, and like what the Jedi Order was going to be like, and you know how old Anakin was going to be, and you know Padawans and all this different stuff. So it's kind of funny to look at it now, and we actually got the updated version of it, which was like after Attack of the Clones, but before Revenge of the Sith. And you can tell they are now, instead of blithely explaining Darth Vader's backstory and then getting like it completely wrong, they are very much like, let's skate over this incident and move on to the thing that happens next. Where you can tell that they don't know what's going to happen in the third movie and are trying to like not say anything that will end up being contradicted.
I need to figure out my timing.
So that's kind of funny. Yes, you do. Maybe a different sword would help. This one might be slow to...
No, I just need to figure out my timing.
Okay. Wow, you have a fairy, right?
I have 2.
That's good. You might need them. You also have a blue potion, I believe.
Yes, it's a full heal for hearts and magic.
Ah, you did it.
I did it the once.
You did it once.
Yay.
Seriously, do you think the Master would be faster? Maybe not.
No, I just need to time better.
Okay.
Our timing is just really, really bad.
Yeah. Is that part of it being on the different system compared to the 3DS, do you think?
It's possible there's some input lag.
I would drink your blue potion right now if I were you.
Fairies are cheaper.
I suppose so. That's true because you can just find them. I was thinking that since...
In this game, fairies are full heal.
And later they just heal you a few hearts, right?
8.
8. You don't have many more than 8, do you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have like 9 or 10.
I think 10.
Yeah, 10. I don't know why it was so hard to count them. I like wanted to cover up the ones I've already counted or something. Ooh. Getting it. Aha! You did it. He blinked first. Now I know why you kept that sword on.
Because it took 3 hits to kill him.
Yeah.
Yeah. It has more range too, so it probably gives me a little bit more time.
Hey kid, you did quite well. It looks like you may be gaining some slight skill. Ganondorf calls you kid, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But you have defeated only my phantom. When you fight the real me, it won't be so easy. Mwahaha. What a worthless creation that ghost was. I will banish it to the gap between dimensions. I want to know more about that statement.
I know, right? That's like an enormous can of worms.
Please explain that to me now. We haven't actually been told anything about the Triforce at this point, because we just know that he, like... We've been told that evil people don't succeed completely in getting the full power of the Triforce, and that he used us to be able to reach the Triforce. But I don't think we've actually heard the explanation of, like, what happened with the Triforce.
I think that happens...
Zelda tells you, right?
Later, yeah.
Ooh, that was a good teleportation.
Yeah. Ready for more dialogue reading?
Yep. What was Rabu's voice? It was Old Man, I guess.
It was Old Man. That was not his voice.
That was not. Ooh, Saria. Thank you. Because of you, I could awaken as a sage. I am Saria, the sage of the Forest Temple.
So, are they dead or alive?
That's the question, isn't it?
It is.
I think you can make a case either direction.
Yeah, I think that's true.
I always believed that you would come because I know you. You don't actually see them outside of this room until, like, the credit scene where they're, like, light, right? Like, do you see Ruto? I mean, Noboru kind of is inside the Iron Knuckle and stuff.
You see most of them
You see Ruto in the temple somewhere, don't you?
Yeah, so you see most of them, like, around the temples, where most of them is 3 out of 5. Because you don't see Impa either.
Yeah.
And you don't see Saria. But you see them in the trials when you are breaking the barriers. They show up there, and then they show up again in the
Okay, yeah, that's right. I remember that now.
final parts, I think.
Do you think they're dead?
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the arguments in favor of them being dead are stronger.
I might want to watch more of it because it's been a long time.
Yeah.
For more than just like brush strokes or broad strokes. I know what I'm saying. Broad strokes. So I might want to
Not using your brush to paint it all in one color.
Yeah. So I might want to see it again more.
Yeah, because a lot of the argument, for example, is like Ruto swims off in part of the temple and then doesn't show back up, and Darunia goes in to fight Volvagia and is missing, and things like that, where it's like maybe they got killed.
Yeah.
So and Iburu is like, did she just get zorked?
Yeah.
Zapped
Did you just kill her?
Yeah.
You know, or whatever, as the Iron Knuckle, you know, in self-defense.
You'll see the.
Yeah. Well, I know that she like falls out of it, and then the 2 twin robos are attacking her and stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, you don't have to explain it to me. This also raises questions about Rauru, because Rauru's been trapped in the Chamber of Sages for like ages and ages and ages.
Is he a spirit in here?
Is he dead? Yeah.
Yeah.
Or is it also something where like you're on the verge of death, you know, gravely injured over, and you can be whisked away here, and time doesn't really exist here, and so like you can be kept alive, where if you actually return to the mortal world, maybe you would die or something like that. I don't know.
Then we see them outside of this chamber.
That is true, we do. So that makes sense, I guess. But yeah, I think I'm gonna have to watch more of the game and revisit that question.
Okay.
But it was one I was thinking about, because as you say, that's something that people talk about a lot with this game. Is are the sages dead or are they alive? So I guess we will see what it looks like. All right, because it is destiny that you and I can't live in the same world, which really sounds like she might be dead at this point. Yeah. I will stay here, which could be the other reason. Maybe as the sage, she has to stay here.
Right, exactly.
So like you can go either way with us. I will stay here as the forest sage and help you. I imagine it's deliberately ambiguous.
Yeah.
Now, please take this medallion. But I think I made a paper doll of her.
You also had a paper doll of a former president.
That was I didn't make that one.
I know.
I made the paper doll of her.
Yes.
I bought the paper doll of George W. Bush and family.
Yes.
Which meant that I had him in his underwear that you put clothes on.
Yep.
And that's why I remember the names of his daughters, Barbara and Jenna, because I had paper dolls of them. Which is kind of creepy.
How would you like to own a professionally made paper doll of yourself?
And the thing is, it's like taking clothes that they have actually worn in public.
Yeah.
That would be the part that would be really weird. Is like, look, there's my closet over there. Do you see that outfit as on a paper doll?
It's like...
And like...
It would be kind of surreal.
Like boxers or briefs. Like, they're just making it up, I'm assuming. Did they actually ask the president? Like, I think he was wearing more like long, like, you know, going down on some of the legs. He wasn't wearing tidy whities.
Boxer briefs.
Yeah, that kind of a thing.
Split the difference.
Yeah, it was like kind of going down on the legs or whatever.
It's an odd product. Do you think they made paper dolls of Trump and his family?
I don't know how much they're still doing paper dolls anymore.
Yeah, I have no idea.
But there was a time when I was like 11 or something that every time we go on vacation somewhere, I would buy paper dolls. Mm-hmm. So I bought paper dolls of, I think, the Queen's family and stuff in London.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm guessing Washington, D.C.
Well, and then you had Magic Wardrobe, which was a paper dolls game.
Yes, I still have it over there.
Yes,
you have to change your computer to be 265 colors. 256 colors in order to play it. Very nostalgic for me, but if you can even say play, considering it's like you put the clothing on the people and you use like paint tools to dye I believe you can print them to make them actual paper dolls. Yeah, probably. I never did that, I don't think, but I think you can print them. But I got off tangent. Yeah, and like I bought paper dolls in Hawaii. And I had one of those like Victorian outfits and all a bunch of different things of like paper dolls. It had ancient Egyptians as paper dolls. She awakened as a sage, by the way. I remember the girl in that. The Egyptian one was bald. Saria will always be your friend. Vulcan.
Yeah.
Do the hand gesture.
Vulcan high five.
Vulcan high five.
Ready for more cutscene?
Oh yeah, so let's see if we see your mom dying in this one. Because we were speculating that, oh, it's so cute! And we haven't seen the face yet.
This is such an adorable
He is the
model.
cutest character in this game. Gapor Gabora Senka. He's so cute. He did his head upside down. Link's reaction is great, too. Yay! Hi there! I'm the Deku Twee Sprout! Because you and Salia broke the curse on the forest temple, I can grow and flourish. Thanks a lot!
It's so cute. I want a plush.
Hey, have you seen your old friends? None of them recognized you with your grown-up body, did they? That's because the Kokiri never grow up. Even after 7 years, they're still kids. Is this the first time they've told us that?
Yes.
I guess it was implied by being children of the forest,
Yes.
and also seeing them. You must be wondering... Yep, he's going to explain that you're Hylian. You must be wondering why only you have grown up. Well, as you might have already guessed, you are not a Kokiri. You are actually a Hylian.
And this is interesting because they use Hylian here and not Hyrulian.
Well, this is a species.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because presumably they're all Hyrulian.
But it is emphasizing our...
Yeah, it's a species, not the...
Yeah.
So maybe they were created by Hylia, who doesn't appear in this game. She is goddess not appearing in this game, right?
Yeah. Yes.
I am happy to finally reveal this secret to you.
I definitely feel like Dinfor and Nehru are bigger earlier on and then kind of
They disappear them.
highly becomes
Some time ago, before the King of Hyrule unified this country, there was a fierce war in our world.
So,
One day, to
wonder how
escape
old
from the
Link was at
fires
this
of the
time.
war, a Hylian mother and her baby boy entered this forbidden forest. Did she turn into a Stalfos? Did you kill your mother?
I don't know.
The mother was gravely injured. Her only choice was to entrust the child to the Deku Twee, the guardian spirit of the forest. The Deku Twee could sense that this was a child of destiny. Like Zelda was the princess of destiny,
Yeah.
whose fate would affect the entire world, so he took him into the forest.
What if he hadn't been a child of destiny?
You would have let him die. After the mother passed away, the baby was raised as a Kokiri, and now finally the day of destiny has come. He doesn't care about foundlings. He just let him die. But he's got important destiny, so he'll have to live. You are a Hylian, and we're always bound to leave this forest. And now, you have learned your own destiny. How many times can he say destiny? So you know what you must do. That's right. You must save the land of Hyrule. Now, Link, break the curses on all of the temples and return peace to Hyrule. He's so cute.
Adorbs.
Look at that.
A Deku Tree Sprout plush would be amazing to have.
It
So what's really interesting, just a little bit of the world building here, is we've got this war. So presumably baby is around somewhere between 0 to 2 years old. Would you say?
Yeah,
So
toddler.
it's
infant.
something like from the start of the game is because Kid Link is
10.
canonically 10.
Mhm.
So that means that this Hyrulian Civil War is going on around, Princess Zelda's probably a similar age, so it's around
Yeah.
the same time. Like,
Rudo's
she
maybe-
was born during that Civil War.
Rudo's maybe 4.
Yeah. So what's interesting about all of this is, like, depending upon when that war actually ended, because it just said that it was going on
Yeah.
when the Hylian mother with her
Uh-huh.
baby boy, who's Link,
Yeah,
entered the
refugees.
forest. Like, it could have, like, concluded not that long ago.
Yeah, and the way he's also saying that, like, the king of Hyrule united all of the different, like, it sounds
Yeah.
like the Zora and the Gorons and all these people were, like, conquered, or like having a fight over which king gets to be the real king of Hyrule.
Well,
And I almost wonder if Ganondorf coming in and like bowing to the king that we see is like him like swearing loyalty because they lost the war, but he's doing it as a trick to...
Yeah, it feels like it could be part of that, right?
Yeah, like maybe the war sort of was still going a little bit.
Yeah.
Almost. Or like they're still bitter about it.
And like the thing is though, we don't know if it was like different Hylian factions. Like the thing is like Ocarina of Time's Hyrule, like, so I really would like an Ocarina of Time remake in the style of the Final Fantasy VII remake, where it's like, let's blow everything up in terms of scale. Like, let's massively increase the scale and go into way more detail and flesh everything out way more deeply.
That would be awesome.
And it would be really interesting.
Well, I'm also wondering, just I was talking about this, how long has Ganondorf been king of the Gerudo? Did he start that war?
I mean, maybe. I don't know.
Like, it's not super clear. Like, I mean, they're saying that King of Hyrule was like fighting to unite the kingdom or something. So it kind of sounds like it was him, but
what were the
maybe
factions?
It was Ganondorf.
Because like when we went to Darunia, he's like, "Oh, what's happened that they're sending this as a messenger to me?" Like he's expecting a royal messenger when he hears the song, and he's like, "This is the messenger. Have I, the Great Darunia, fallen so low?" And it's like, what was going on with the relationship there? Because that's not entirely clear. He said he was a sworn brother of the king. So it's like, were they allies? And obviously, like King Zora, like it's clear that Hyrule. There's a deep connection between the Zora and the Hyrule.
Like, who are they?
Because of the waters and everything.
Who is the king fighting?
Yeah, exactly. Who is the king fighting?
The Kokiri were clearly not involved.
Yeah.
It seems like the Gorons and the Zora are fairly allied.
Yeah.
So were they really fighting the Gerudo?
Like, was it worth the Gerudo? Or do you finally see the surrender there at the start of the game sort of thing? You know, or a false surrender to... It's like, he tried force and that didn't work. And, like, I don't know. But it's really interesting to kind of, like, what's actually going on with the world building and some of these background details.
I don't know how much they actually thought about it. Like, you'd think you'd have to. Because, like, this is... Link's backstory is that there was a war going on and he and his mother were refugees from that war. Presumably his father maybe died during that war or something. And... So you'd think that you'd think about, like, the timeline.
Yeah, and, like...
who were they fighting and all that kind of stuff.
They may or may not have a good answer to that question, right? But it's interesting because it feels kind of a little bit like they had disparate backstory elements connected to this war, but they'd never really fleshed out the details super clearly. Is what it kind of feels like based upon what's presented, but it might just be that they had fleshed it out, but we're only given a very limited view. Yeah,
and I don't know which it is, but it is interesting to think about because, like...
And, like, what was Impa's role during that war?
The people aren't acting... And that's maybe why she's almost like a bodyguard more than a nanny, it feels like.
Yeah.
Like maybe they have a bodyguard nanny because they need to make sure she's safe.
Yeah, during this war that's going on.
But yeah, like, it's something that's easy to overlook and not think about. Especially because no one acts like... should I read this out loud?
No, it's just repeating.
Thanks a lot. But no one acts like, oh yeah, we just got out of this big, huge, giant war against each other or something. They're acting like we're all friends and have been for ages. I will say that, talking about uniting Hyrule, the fact that the Zoras have a king makes it feel like they're a little bit more, like, separate. Link? This is Saria, can you hear me? Link, at first I didn't want to because... Become. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
I thought it said because, and I was like, I didn't want to because, but I didn't want to become the Sage of the Forest. But I'm glad now. Because I'm helping you to save Hyrule, Link. Yes, I am. I think we're okay.
It's cool because I didn't do it, but if you play the song before...
It says you couldn't hear her, right?
Yeah.
She was stuck in the temple.
I want to see if stuff cleared up here or not.
Oh, the enemies?
Yeah. That is, in fact, the stuff I meant.
All right, let's take a look and see if there are still Deku Scrubs and Deku Babas and other Deku things.
Yeah, it's, like, cleared up and we can talk to
nice. I feel like I've known you for a long time, mister. Well, I mean, I suppose theoretically you have.
So it's kind of cool that it gets restored and stuff.
Yeah, and that's actually what I was going to mention. When we talked about... He wants to know how to fence. I was actually going to talk about that in relation to Majora's Mask, as always, right? And so I was thinking I'd probably wait until that game, but I'll mention it since you talked about this. Now that the Deku Tree's sprout is growing in the Great Deku Tree's meadow, the forest has returned to normal. So I wonder why it took 7 years to germinate underground?
The sprout was being blocked.
Oh, that makes sense.
He literally just said that he's being blocked by the...
Well, I saw that it was saying that because it had returned, it was now normal. I didn't see that it was saying it was blocked. I guess I'm really bad at reading. I read it out loud, though, or did I? You're such a big, strong guy. I really want to be like you someday. Purple fairy. Even though I'll always be small.
One of the cool things about the randomizer is you can randomize Navi's color.
Oh, that's fun. But so one of the things that I really like with Majora's Mask, so in games, because we've seen things like, oh, you didn't get all the Skulltulas. Well, that means you can go back and get more of them later. Link, I wonder if he will come back. Ha ha ha, the irony. Dramatic irony. So because of that, like, you often are not going to like permanently change an area so that people can go back there and like still do stuff. Like if you need to go back to the temple to find some of the Skulltulas you missed or the treasure chest you missed, it's still available to you to do that. Which means that you beat the dungeon and you don't always see tangible results of that.
Yeah.
Right? So, something I really like in, for example, Snowhead, the mountain area in Majora's Mask, is that you beat the dungeon and it goes from being winter to being spring. It's this huge change. And they're able to do that where you see like this change that you've wrought upon it because since you go back in time, you can go and visit the old version of it still.
Yeah.
And the contrast I was thinking of is when you beat the water temple here, you stop the ice from being permanent, but it's still frozen. It's gonna like take a while to thaw, so you never actually like restore Zora's domain.
Yeah.
And you don't actually see all the Zora getting free. That'd be so. Imagine if you beat this temple. You fix like Hylia, it's got the water level raised again. But imagine if you beat this temple, and then Zora's domain unfroze and all the Zora were back.
That would be great.
That would be so awesome. And you don't have that.
I can tell already these bits are going to be annoying.
You don't have that because they can't like change the location because then or they can't like have the dungeon like if the Woodfall Temple gets completely changed, right? And things like that. And you can make those kinds of.
It's not rotating the camera around Link because the camera got stuck on the wall.
Oh no! So you can't make those like permanent changes in a game like this. So it feels like some of the did you really beat the bad guy in this temple and cleanse it because there's no change? Like all the bad guys are still in the temple. If you go back there again, you can fight them again. So I really think that's really something that's neat and that I like. And I'll probably say all this again in the Majora's Mask one.
Whenever we get to that one.
Whenever we get to that.
These are taking a lot longer than I had anticipated, so we're probably not going to get to Majora's Mask until
like February. Or something. So. I really like that about Majora's Mask, and it's something that I think I understand why, from a gameplay standpoint, they don't do that. And if they do, it's often like a prologue place, like Prehistoric Ascalon, or like Majora's Mask, when you're in Hyrule at the very beginning when you start chasing the Skull Kid, you never get back to there, right?
Yeah.
But generally, if it's like an actual like part of the game, they can't like necessarily make permanent changes to it, where you can't like go back and access things that you had missed the first time around or something.
I mean, they can, but like if you're doing that, you have to be very careful how you're doing it, to where if the player is permanently missing something, it's not permanently damaging their playthrough.
Yeah. So I think that's something that the time mechanic allows them to do that's really neat. And I wish that this game was able to have that, where, especially with the Zoras. So it's cool to see that there actually was an effect where the enemies that were spawning in Kokiri Forest are gone. So that's cool. And I'm glad to see that there was actually an effect with that, where you fixed something that you can see tangibly got fixed.
I agree.
And I wish that with the Zora, it wasn't just, oh, this means that the ice will now melt in about 10 years, because there's so much, it's take forever to melt. But instead, rather than, being permanently frozen. So I guess it's at the end of the game and the credits, they're on frozen, right? But anyway, I think that would be neat. So
yeah, it would be.
Anyway.
We should wrap up this episode. So
yes.
Next time will be Water Temple. As you can tell, that's where I'm at.
Yeah, some cool music playing.
Because you can do water before fire if you want to, and I feel like it, so why not? But until then, everyone, thank you all very much for watching. Take care, and goodbye.
Bye-bye.